name is Helen, and I've been a member of St. Thomas for 5 years, maybe a little bit more, but probably not a participating member any more than the past 2 or 3 years. So now I'm here every week and very involved, and I love it.
How did you come to St. Thomas?
I shopped. I used to live in Westlake, and I had gone to 2 or 3 different Episcopal churches in the area and in Lakewood. And then when I moved to Olmsted Falls, I continued shopping and went to a couple of other churches as far as Elyria. And then I found St. Thomas and I stopped shopping.
And what made you come back?
I felt very comfortable. I didn't feel like I was being pushed. Some churches you go to and it can be overwhelming, the welcoming that you get. And others it can be very cold. And I thought that my welcome was a really nice in-between. I felt like people greeted me and wanted me there, but nobody pushed me and I wasn't accosted.
So what happens when you're accosted? How do you react then?
Well, I had been at some other churches and I just didn't go back. In my work, I have to be very outgoing and salesy, but that's work. I don't want to have to work at church, so I like to kind of go at it at my own pace. When I'm accosted, then I feel like I'm forced into a relationship immediately, and I have to get involved. I have to right away, and I just assume go about that at my own pace.
So as you got to know St. Thomas better, what are some of the things that stood out for you?
You.
Edit.
Let's see. I felt like the sermons were fantastic. They were moving, inspiring. They are moving and inspiring. I look forward to hearing them each week. When I come to St. Thomas, I feel like as soon as I come in the doors and I kneel down to say my first prayer, I just feel a huge weight lifted off of my shoulders. I feel very comfortable. I feel at home. I feel like God is with me in that moment. That keeps me coming back and looking forward to it throughout the whole week.
Talk a little bit more about God being with you. What does that feel like, and what does that mean to you?
I remember several years ago, before I had really found a church home, thinking during one of the services, what is this Holy Spirit? I hear the words a lot and definitely confused by the 3 in 1, and I never really understood what the Holy Spirit was. The best way I can describe God being with me here is I feel the Holy Spirit in me at that moment. I feel just a huge sense of relief. I feel a sense of calming and peace. And with 2 little kids, I can use all the peace I can get.
What's different when you bring them to church? Because sometimes you bring them with you.
Sometimes I do. Mm-hmm. It's work, but it's good work. It's really great work. I can usually do it, but some days they're busy, they're interested, they're happy, they're loud, but I've never been discouraged. I've never heard any shh, from the crowd. As a matter of fact, just this morning, I had several people come up to me and say, "Where are the little ones?" So I think people are definitely starting to get used to them and look forward to seeing them. So it's work because I would rather they be with me during church and not in a cry room. I appreciate having the cry room, but I would like them to experience the service, not in a forced manner, but I'd like them to be interested and intrigued and want to know more.
So you said that you used to be an uninvolved member, and now you are an involved member. How did that evolve?
Well, I felt like I was kind of stumbling along my faith journey, in and out of a relationship with God. I've lived in Michigan and Cleveland and New York. Jobs have taken me all over, and I've never felt a foundation in God. I've always kind of moved, and I found like I was steering more towards God in times of trouble than I was in times of good, and I just felt a little bit lost. And so I scheduled a lunch with you and asked the question of, what do I do? What do I do to kind of find what my path is? I know that God is talking to me. I know that he wants me to do more. I know that he wants me to be involved. I just don't know what to do about it. And I really enjoyed our lunch because I felt like you listened, and then you got me involved in things that were very important, really monumental. Not that bringing donuts or gardening isn't important, but for me, you got me involved in the natural church development process, which was life-changing for me, absolutely life-changing. So I think it's just connecting with the right person at the right time and listening and just creating that opportunity for God to get involved and to steer me and to push me, and it's been just nothing short of wonderful.
How does it impact your daily life?
Let's see. That's a hard question because life gets busy, and I forget sometimes that I'm not in control. I remember a priest that led us in a session a couple of years ago, and he said, we forget that we think that we're the driver on this car when really we're the passenger. And I think you forget that. I'm in control of my day. So when I can take a minute, because I'm maybe a little bit overwhelmed, and I take a minute and I realize that God is in control, I'm not in control, I feel that sense of peace. I don't have that huge sense of responsibility to take care of whatever issue it is. I try very hard to remember that God's with me not only in the difficult times when I really need him, but in the wonderful times when he's answered a prayer that I didn't even know I was asking.
So, how have you experienced God in this church, or even how has your experience of God changed as a result of coming to this church? You can answer either one.
As I've gotten more involved at St. Thomas, and again, I would definitely stress that it was at my own pace. It was a very comfortable set of circumstances for me to get as involved as I wanted to be. As I became more involved, I started to connect with the community of the people here at church. And I found that there are so many people so eager to care for you here. It's really astounding to me. I've never been involved in anything like that besides my family. I find that people seek me out. People know, as I've told you a number of times, people know my name, that it's as though we're close personal friends, and that just amazes me that people pay such close attention to each other here. They care for you, so I feel that God has to be with you in that moment. When groups come together and such good, thoughtful sharing of ideas, and you can feel people have love for one another, true love for one another, that has to be God in our presence when that's happening. And I experience that each time I come to church, whether it's for worship or a meeting or to drop off food for our outreach programs. I feel that each time that God's with me when I walk in the door.